When I was about 7 years old, my family went on vacation to this simple little cottage on a lake in Wisconsin. And I was super excited about this vacation because the previous year we'd been to the same place. But this year I was told I could go out in the rowboat by myself. And so as soon as we got there, first opportunity I had, I ran down to the dock and jumped in the boat and started rowing out into the small lake. And after about 30 or 40 feet, I looked behind me to see where I was going, and I saw a snake slithering on the front seat of the boat. And I was horrified, because at 7, the only thing I knew about snakes was what I had seen in the Disney movie Jungle Book, in which the boa constrictor Kaa wants to eat the young boy Mowgli. And so I stood up on the seat of the boat and I started yelling, "Mom, Dad, snake!" And I must have done this like 10 times, and no response from the cottage. So I tried to think what options I had. I mean, I could stay in the boat and be eaten by the snake, or I could jump overboard and try to swim to shore, but at 7, I was a weak swimmer at best, but I decided anything was better than being eaten by a snake, so I abandoned ship. And even though I was a weak swimmer, I swam like a torpedo to that dock. I mean, Mark Spitz at that time, or Michael Phelps today would have either been impressed by the way I flew through that water. And just about the time I get back to the dock, then my dad comes out of the cottage and he's looking to see what's going on. And I tell him about the boat and the snake, and heroically, my dad jumps in the water and swims out to the boat and grabs the tie rope and tows the boat back into shore. And not only that, he looks in the boat and the snake is still there. So calmly, he reaches in and he grabs the snake and he shows him to me, and the snake's even calm now. And he's saying that, you know, the snake didn't mean you any harm. He was just probably trying to get out of the boat the same way you did. And my dad was a superhero in my mind then. He was handling this fearsome snake. And I was wondering how he would deal with kryptonite or something like that, you know? And, but it was a really, so anyway, my dad we took the snake and we went over to some weeds at the end of the property and let the snake go, and it slithered away. And so that was a really important experience, because fast forward 15 years, and now I'm in the Army, in Army Ranger School. And if you know about that, that's a training program where you have to do some very intense patrolling, and you're sleep deprived and very little food and all kinds of things. And this is January at a training grounds near Pensacola, Florida. And we're out doing a patrol, and we have a morning raid objective. And so I'm in a foxhole guarding a perimeter position. And because I'm so sleep deprived, I commit the cardinal sin of falling asleep on my rifle in this foxhole. And when I open my eyes, even though I'm groggy, it's like 100 cups of coffee woke me up, because coiled under my arm is a snake. And I can't see the head because it's on the other side of the coil. And it's too dark, I can't make out the pattern, but I do recognize at the tail is a rattle. Oh. And I'm like, and I'm thinking about this. I stay completely still, but I think, okay, I got options here. I mean, my arm's already over. I can try to pin him and control him. I could move back slowly so I don't startle him, or I could push back quickly and try to make some space. And I decided for that third option, so I gather myself and I push myself against the back of the foxhole, and I hold my rifle out in front of me to knock the snake down if it strikes at me, or be able to pin it to the floor. But the snake just keeps on sleeping, because it's January and it's very cold, and the snake was just looking for a warm place to go into like semi-hibernation. So I didn't want to disappoint the snake, but I slithered out the foxhole myself and found a different place to guard my perimeter. But it was a valuable lesson, because I thought about what my dad said about being calm. And so I used that and thought about options. And it was important, because fast forward another 15 years, and now I'm a young father, and my wife comes up to me one day and says, "You know what? The dryer is doing something really strange. It's not even turned on, and it's making noises." So I go down to look, and my young kids come with me and my wife, and I look around and I see in the back there's this plastic vent tube that goes from the bottom of the dryer up outside into the yard. And I say, "Oh, you know what? Probably a little mouse or chipmunk or something crawled in, and now he's stuck because the tube's jumping around." So we'll let him out of there. So my kids are all crouched over, ready to see this cute little mouse that I'm going to let out of the tube. And the snake leaps out of the tube. And my kids are horrified because the only thing they know about snakes is what they learned in the Disney movie Jungle Book, in which the snake tries to eat little Mowgli. So they are running and screaming, terrified around this laundry room in the basement. And my wife is chasing them, trying to catch them and comfort them. And the snake is scared of all these crazy people. So it's supersonic slithering around this laundry room. And I'm telling everybody, be quiet, you're scaring the snake. My family looks at me like I'm crazy if I think the snake is half as scared as they are. But anyway, everyone calms down, and I catch the snake, and I show it to the kids, and I say, you know, it didn't mean you any harm. It just wanted to get out of that vent tube, and we take it out to the back of the property and release it in the bushes. And so everything's great. A couple days later, I'm out mowing the lawn around the house, and I'm looking for snakes or evidence of snakes, and don't see anything. But I reflect on the fact that kind of life has come full circle, and that all those years ago, my dad had to, when I was a horrified little kid, had to rescue me, and now I was the one who got to be the rescuer. And so now I'm thinking as Father's Day comes in a couple of weeks, if I happen to run across a snake, the first thing I'm going to think about is my dad and what he taught me. And if I see a snake, before I do anything, I'm going to calmly look up towards heaven and say, thanks, Dad, good job.